Welcome back to another episode of Too Generic. You're back with your host Cam
Rich.
and today we're gonna talk. We're gonna discuss Ant-Man. That's the thumbnail, so we can't ignore that. Next, we got UFC. We'll talk about the fight night that happened last night. Some NBA playoffs around the corner, so we'll see some teams maybe jockeying for some positioning. See who's some winners. See who we think are going to be some losers and maybe fall out of the playoff picture. March Madness, touch on a little bit, and we got a couple other things saved. And the fantasy league, we've kept up with the fantasy league, so I'll mention that right now.
Right.
We're in the playoffs. I'm in my first week of the playoffs. Ritchie got the bye week because he's in first. I came in second in our conference, so I got the bottom seed. It's pretty good, but
you got the first round in the bag, though.
Yeah, I got first round in the bag. We'll get to that in a little bit. I wanted to start off with UFC Fight Night. So yesterday was my birthday. I got to just relax at home, do nothing. I'm 29. Last year in my 20s, I'll be 30 next year. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, last year in my 20s, I'm becoming an old man. And I couldn't make it through the whole fight night as usual. It just is what it is. Do you want to kick us off? What was the first fight of the night that you tuned into?
Well, I tuned in. I probably made it through the first six. I didn't make it for the main card, and then I went back and I watched the Namajunas fight and the Rebus fight this morning. So I saw the first 7 fights. In that second one, Igor Severino biting Andre Lima was crazy. I've never seen that before.
Me neither. Bite of the night.
And I don't know how much Dana White gave him, and then he got the tattoo right there.
The rumor was that Dana was going to give him $25,000 for the bodily harm that was caused.
Right. I didn't see how much he was going to give.
But then Lima, brought it to another level and got rushed to a tattoo place. Immediately got it tatted on him, and Dana said he's going to give him $50,000 like it was a fight of the night.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
So it went from him giving a little extra, damn, you got bit, bro. I got you. I'm going to make sure you're all right. No hard feelings about fighting for this company and everything. Then he gets the tattoo to kind of double down, and he gets the double bonus. You got to love it.
Yeah, and then that Igor guy got cut immediately.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's ridiculous. I would never step in the cage with a guy who bit me.
And how do you
someone else?
But how do you get the teeth marks in there with a mouth guard in?
That is the one thing, but I will say these dudes are strong. I know it sounds funny, but the way they work out and they do these head crunches, I did wrestling my freshman year at Putnam, and I just learned what you do for wrestling, and then from there, sophomore year, because I played on the freshman basketball team. Second year, I had a hurt ankle, so I couldn't try out coming from football season, so that's why I did wrestling. Sophomore year, I learned how to do these neck push-ups. And you basically do a bridge. Have you ever done a bridge?
No, I've seen Mike Tyson do it, though, when he was
Mike Tyson, yeah. So that Mike Tyson kind of made it famous, but that has been done forever, especially for wrestling, because you really need a strong neck for wrestling. So they do a lot of neck workouts, a lot of jaw stuff because they're getting punched in the face constantly. You know what I'm saying? Their head is a muscle. So I could see how a UFC fighter could have more bite force than the average person, and you would see the teeth marks even through a mouth guard. That's the only way, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, dudes wear mouth guards, but some guys wear that Steph Curry little paper thin,
oh yeah.
That little thin plastic thing where it's really not stopping much. It's stopping your teeth from scraping each other and getting chips, but it's not really added padding for big impacts and stuff, which Curry doesn't really, it doesn't happen to him, but UFC fighters probably should have thicker mouth guards. Yeah, it was strange. I didn't tune in for the fight. I tuned in because of the bite, and that's when I started. So I was just on my timeline. I'm watching games. I'm hanging out. And then I see all of a sudden this dude gets bit. I'm like, all right, I gotta get on the stream immediately. And then I remembered that the fight before that was Usman's brother. And then I was like, damn, I missed the Usman fight. Which it was the first fight of the night, and he lost. So.
Yeah, it was a close fight. Nothing really. There was nothing major that happened in the fight that would have swayed it to one guy's favor. I mean, there was nothing really exciting about the fight.
Yeah, apparently, looking at the stats now, Usman threw more total strikes, but the other guy landed a little more.
Yeah, Usman was definitely more active, and then he thought he won, and he kind of threw a fit.
He did?
He didn't throw a crazy fit, but he was like, "Come on, man!" And then he shook the guy's hand, but he was pretty upset. But I didn't think it was. I don't know. I didn't think it was that interesting of a fight.
I respect it though. At least I didn't see the situation, but from your description, like at least he went and shook the guy's hand. Cause you can't be mad at Parkin,
Yeah,
the guy he fought.
yeah,
He's
can't be
not
mad
the
at
judge, you know.
right.
So if Usman has to be mad with anybody, he's gonna be mad with the judges.
Yeah, and then the Jarno Aaron's fight, he was piecing up Stephen Nguyen.
Yep.
Nguyen's shorts were white, and they were bloody red.
Yep.
But
Ended the fight blood red.
Yeah.
The next fight was all right. Here, I'll just share the screen just so there's like a little more, I guess, like entertainment value here.
All right.
I thought I was at first. I thought I had it set up. That's why I was trying to open the tabs. All right, here we go. And then I'll zoom in a little bit. All right. So where are we now? Yeah, the Aaron's fight. This dude, Stephen Nguyen, just got pieced up for like 3 rounds straight. Yep. Aaron's definitely left looking like he got in a fight, though.
He did.
He was swollen and everything, but Nguyen got his ass whooped. Like, Nguyen, when he landed, there was damage, and it definitely, like, made this guy swell, but he got his ass whooped.
But he just looked so comfortable in there, too.
Yeah, true. Aaron's was throwing. The next fight was Cody Gibson, and if you don't remember him, he is from The Ultimate Fighter. Following him, he's an older guy. He's like 37, 36 years old, and he was trying to have a comeback story. He was once in the UFC, fell out of the UFC, lost his contract, tried to get back through the Michael Chandler and McGregor, contender series, Ultimate Fighter, and now he's back, but he took an L. It was an interesting matchup. I don't think it shows like their body types and stuff, but this guy's like pretty tall and lanky, and then this guy is just like a solid rock.
Yeah, he's stocky. Miles John.
He was just throwing that right hand as hard as he could, and he was missing a lot.
Yeah,
it was an interesting fight.
Gibson seemed exhausted too.
Yeah,
he seemed really tired in that fight.
Mm-hmm. But it was a fun fight nonetheless. Like it was a fight that went the distance, but kept you engaged. I feel like each of them were losing it at one point, and you're like, oh my God, is the fight going to turn?
Right.
It was one of those, it wasn't like the most skilled people in the world. It wasn't Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva or anything. It was 2 different fight styles coming together, and it was good. It was a good fight. Like you said, you want to talk about the Erosa fight?
Yeah, the Erosa fight. Ramos had him hurt, and then Ramos went for the takedown, and Erosa got him with the guillotine. But he didn't sleep him with the guillotine, but he was hanging on him, and then Ramos.
That's the one where he picked him up.
Yeah,
he picked him up and then he tapped.
Yeah, before he went unconscious.
That was so weird. That like, if someone's on your neck like that and you get up, at least get one slam in before you tap.
Yeah, but
he lifted him in the air like he was gonna slam him, and then goes.
Yeah, it must have been so much pressure.
It must have been a lot, but I just don't get how you couldn't just get one drop in.
Yeah, and Ramos had him hurt too. He almost knocked him.
Yeah, like you don't got that adrenaline in you after you were whooping his ass, and then this guy puts you in a little neck hold. You don't got one slam in you. You tap while you lift him. All the energy is in the lift, not the drop. I don't know. It was weird. That part was weird to me.
Yeah.
It was like a respectful BJJ thing. I think it was like how, what's his name? Poirier was fighting Saint Denis, and sometimes it's things that you just have like reflexes on in the cage and in the practice room and stuff you drill. And Denny, he kept doing this like whenever he would get in the clinch and he would try like some body work and he was trying some takedowns. Poirier apparently, because I forget who, it was Bisping or someone saying it in the gym, his coach is always like, if you see an open neck, you drop immediately. That's the rule in his gym. So that's why Poirier went for 3 guillotines that fight in the span of 1 round, is because of it was 2 rounds. But like, I think he went for 3. And
No, he
like
went for more than 3, I think.
he might have went for more than 3, but in the
I thought
first
there was
round at
more than.
least, I think he went for 3.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot. Like he was going for that same thing and just trying to drop on it. And like that's not Poirier's move, but he's been drilled so much to do it. And I think in BJJ, I remember when I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about maybe like a year and a half at Fuji Studio.
Mm-hmm.
So doing that Fuji Studio, I remember one of the first days I went there, they were trying to tell me like, certain things about BJJ, and you got to respect it and you got to learn how to like, roll, and you're doing all these things. And it's very, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes mercy. It takes a lot of things because you go in there knowing that you're either going to be like in a chokehold or you got somebody in a chokehold. Like you could end someone's life realistically, or someone could end yours. And you're practicing these things, And I think in BJJ, you're not allowed to slam like that. So if someone ever has you in a hold, if you lift them, you're not allowed to. Like it's like disrespectful. It's like against the sport because I did that, and they told me that was very rude, and it was like not like a thing. Like BJJ is not about striking and like brute force and slams and stuff. Like there's trips, there's sweeps, a little bit of judo mixed in if you're standing up and you're trying to get to the ground position, things like that. But like if someone has you in a lock to climb off the ground and then drop them, like it's just kind of frowned upon. So maybe that's why when he pulled him up, he just had an instinct. He's like, all right, I'm out. Like I got no more moves left.
Right.
That's the only thing I could think, because there's no way you picked a grown man off the ground and have him in a position to throw and then just go, I'm done.
But maybe if he slams him and then he lands on the top of his head, he could hurt his head there too, or he could hurt his
Maybe
head.
he was having a little bit of fear, but I don't know what it was. It didn't make sense. I feel like he had like a good angle for the slam. It's not like he was in a too bad of a position. I don't know. It was weird. He picked the dude up with ease. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was just weird to tap out at the peak of your slam.
Right.
What else? What this we got?
I don't know. I was asleep for the next 5. I was asleep for the next 6, and then
So I know one thing. This guy, this guy Trey Ogden, he's an older guy, and he actually got the dub over Kurt Harborough. But he's Miles Johns' coach.
Yep.
So this guy Miles Johns practices at Trey Ogden's gym.
Yeah, and
that was like a little storyline too that they were saying.
Yeah, he was just on top of the guy the whole time. He had he probably controlled over half of the fight. Just on the ground.
This dude was fun.
The Peyton, I seen he had a nasty knee on Cameron Simon, your cousin.
You're talking about Peyton Talbot?
Yeah, Peyton Talbot.
Oh yeah, yo, he got his ass whooped last night.
Knee was so loud. That knee was so loud on your cousin from South Africa.
My cousin, my South African cousin. My African American twin.
Yep.
He comes here
from time to time.
From time to time when he visits. But yeah, the Fernando Padilla fight was good. Billy Carantino literally got dragged for 2 rounds. Like it was kind of sad. It looked like he didn't belong in the same like conference or something. Like there was a different division that Billy should partake in, and definitely not partake in the UFC anymore.
He should be in the PFL.
Yeah, something like that. Like a lesser fight league. He just doesn't got it no more. I'm gonna just be real. He got abused. He got ragdolled. What I was surprised about was this fight right here. I thought Dobson was going to sleep him. He came out swinging, bombing on Shabazian, and out of nowhere, Shabazian just lands some like counter and flips the whole thing. And now this guy, AJ Dobson's like on his back getting whipped out.
Damn. Yeah, I missed that one.
But yeah, like Dobson won like the first 2 minutes of the fight. Like bad. Like Shabazian's whole forehead was a mess. But I guess, you don't have to punch someone in the forehead. Doesn't really. It's not the best spot to hit him in.
It hurts, probably.
Unless you're Johnny Walker.
Yep. Unless you're Johnny Walker's goofy ass.
Unless you're Johnny Walker, then you get punched in the forehead, then you do the salute, and you just head out. What else? That dude Peyton Talbot, though. Like I said, I fell asleep for the Rose Namajunas fight, but Peyton Talbot, that dude's fearless.
Yep.
He was thumping, and he's 8-0. So, like, I don't know who he's fought before Shaman, or Simon. I think it's pronounced Simon.
Simon, yeah, it's weird, but yeah, I think it's Simon.
Simon, yeah. But yeah, Simon's no bum. And he was getting his ass whooped and still kept getting up. We didn't see the best from him, but he showed some heart because this dude was beating his ass. Let's be real. And then, but yeah, I didn't watch it. So you watched the replay of it. How was the last fight?
I thought Rose probably got 1, 2, and 4, and they struck a lot. I mean, they were both active. They didn't connect a whole lot. Or Ribas didn't connect a whole lot, but Ribas took her down 4 times, but Rose reversed it at least twice, and then she was able to get on top of her. And Rose almost had 7 minutes of control time in this. So, and she just had the cleaner, more accurate striking, and again the control time helped her win that fight too. But I thought it was definitely Rose 1, 2, and 4, and then she won. Yeah, she won 49-46 on 2 cards, 48-47 on the other. So I thought that's what it was. But that's
on the win, and Ribas was ranked what, 5th?
I thought it was 8th.
8th?
But that's good too because
they don't have a number next to her.
Yeah, I think Rose was let me look it up. But Rose wasn't in the rankings. This is just her second fight at flyweight, and then she lost to Manon Furio in her first fight at flyweight. So now she should move in the rankings because she's at. So what is it? Flyweight?
You said she was 8?
I thought Ribas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 8th in flyweight.
Yeah. So if she beats Ribas, let's say. I mean, she should be above Miranda Maverick, Tracy Cortez. This division is kind of a joke.
Yeah, Cortez is good, but she barely fights.
She's a very good technical fighter. She doesn't have any pop,
and she hardly fights. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But she has Natalia Silva's nasty. Natalia Silva is scary. Rose doesn't want to face that. She's gonna fight Andrade again. Get slammed on her neck.
That's pretty much what they're setting up, right? They're setting up the trilogy.
Well, no, she was asking for post fight. She was asking for a rematch against Manon. She was asking for or Blanchfield. She was saying she wants the winner of that fight because Blanchfield and Furio fight next week. So she was asking for the winner of that matchup.
Interesting.
So she would be kind of moving up. I don't know what ranking Rose would be in the flyweight division now. She'll be somewhere in the top 15, but I don't know if she'll be high enough to fight them. But again, she has that name to where she can probably move up and fight those two if she really wanted to.
And Ferro beat Rose.
Yeah, but Rose was saying I want the rematch.
Yeah.
And then she was also saying maybe Macy Barber, and Macy Barber's 4th, and she's on the come up too. So
I think she'll whip Macy Barber's ass.
Yeah, I think Rose is she's just too smart. She always plays, for the most part, she always plays it safe.
Yeah, Rose is a very smart vet.
Yeah, just smart, technical, boring a lot at times, but
now she's just she's like that vet you bring on the team just to teach the young rooks at practice. Like, listen, this dude's old and 30. He doesn't do much no more. But if he plays you one-on-one, he's going to beat you.
Right. And that's what she did.
You bring in, the Rudy Gay into your team just to show the young guys. Listen, this guy's better than all you guys. But he just can't do it 82 games straight.
Just forget about the Esparza fight.
I mean, the Esparza fight is a bad matchup for her.
Yeah.
If you really think about Esparza is a wrestler. She threw 18 punches in 25 minutes.
Right.
Like I don't even know. I think Mom would have threw more punches against Rose.
Right. But
Like fuck, bro.
The first fight was so much better when they fought. And what was that? Was that the Ultimate Fighter when they fought?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that fight was a lot better. But
You know what it was, right?
Rose was really reckless in that too. That was
No,
not.
that was the. It wasn't even that fight wasn't even Vegas. It was them two because Esparza was getting married. Remember?
Oh yeah, we were talking because we watched that fight.
And then the whole run up is the two fighters talking about how she's getting married soon, and it's like, what? You guys aren't talking about beef or like who's gonna take the belt or nothing. You're talking about, yeah, she's gonna get married, so I'm really happy for her.
Yep. She's like,
give her the belt, give her some prize money, and then it'll be cool. Good for her.
Don't take me down, and I won't punch you in the face.
Pretty much. And they were like, "That's it, good deal."
And it made for probably the worst fight in UFC history.
I think it was definitely the worst championship fight in UFC history.
Because I think Romero and Adesanya was better than that.
Yeah.
But Anderson Silva against Damian Maia was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But that I think the Esparza and Namajunas one took the top spot there.
All right, so we can move on from the UFC stuff. We could jump straight into Ant-Man, or you want to talk a little March Madness?
Let's go to Ant-Man.
All right, so Ant-Man, thumbnail of our show today. It's did you see the thumbnail?
No, I didn't.
It's the split picture between Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan.
As it should be.
As it should be. So yeah, we're gonna dive a little bit into the stats of Ant-Man. Here, let me share this screen now. All right, so we're here on Basketball Reference, the site we all go to. It's funny to see this, but I'm glad Anthony Edwards went back to number 5.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. There's something about it. He did the right thing. But this is it right here. So Ant-Man, he's up to 26.5 this year. All-star selection. He's in his 4th season, 2nd time being an all-star. The kid's incredible.
Yeah, and he's really taken over since Karl-Anthony Towns went down with that injury.
He has. And he's going up in every statistical category, like even assists, 2.9, 3.8, 4.4, 5.1. Like he's going up almost a whole assist every year. The defensive metrics are getting a little bit better.
And you just see the confidence growing each game.
Yeah.
And he just takes over games. Like you saw the Pacers one. That was one of the craziest finishes. Those last 2 minutes, it was just him. He hit that 3. He had a couple of shots, in the paint. Then he had that block shot at the buzzer. I mean, that was pretty amazing what he did. And then of course you had the highlight last week with that dunk on John Collins.
John Collins fakes an injury right after.
Yep. And now he's been questionable a lot. He's been questionable every game now with the face injury. So I don't know if Ant, because I don't know how, because Ant went up to dunk with the left hand and then he had his right hand down. So I don't know if he hit him it looked like he hit him in the face. It looked like he hit Collins in the face while he was jumping up. And then Collins didn't fall that hard. So I don't know why his face is hurt.
Yeah, all of it is just weird for me for the face hurting. It just reminds me when John Collins dunked on Embiid and Embiid faked an eye injury.
Right.
Do you remember that? That was 2-3 years ago.
I don't remember the Collins dunk. I know Collins can fly though. He's had some.
I think it was the Collins dunk. I can almost swear it was the Collins dunk. I think it was in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's a really good in-game dunker.
Let me see. See if I can find this real quick. But we'll keep going.
But he's been questionable ever since. It's crazy.
I think he's soft.
But I don't know what was better, the Jalen Johnson dunk or the Anthony Edwards dunk on that night.
That's tough. The Jalen Johnson one was really cool too.
He had his balls in Reeves' face. It was
And
crazy.
he kind of did like the jump. I think they both did the jump man.
Yeah, but I don't even think Edwards' hand. I don't even know if it hit the rim.
I can't. No, I think he threw it in. It was a little bit of a thrunk.
Yeah, it was because then he hurt his finger because he had to leave the game for a second. I think they called a timeout. Then he came back and then he had to get his fingers taped.
Oh yeah, I got it. I got it right here. See, this is why Top Shot actually really is the best.
Mm.
They will be the go-to spot. If you want to go find a highlight, you're like, John Collins dunk. You could go, watch this, share this tab instead. Well, since I already know what it is, here's the dunk. So let's just watch it real quick.
He got up there,
He got up there, wrote him down, and then he had his hand like kind of on his chest right here, and then Embiid starts holding his eyeball.
Embiid's always hurt.
Let's see if there's another angle of it in the beginning. But yeah, like Embiid's like holding his face, but Collins did nothing to his eyeball. All he did was put his hand right here. Like, granted, it's kind of like a mini headlock. Like the forearm is under the chin. Yeah. But for some reason, Embiid like knows he got banged on and immediately just starts holding his eyes.
Jeez.
But yeah, like this. So I'll show you. So like, this is the filter system. See, dunk. John Collins. Like, watch this. So we'll go like Edwards. So if you want to find Anthony Edwards dunk on Utah, right? And you want to find exactly where it is, you look for Anthony Edwards dunk, and then you go rookie year. And where am I? Yeah, here we go. So now it, shrinks the search, and now you got to see. Who's this against? Atlanta? Nope. Blazers? Nope. Here we go. Raptors. Boom. Found it. Here's the Edwards dunk.
Now, was it that one or the one on John Collins? Which one is better in that one?
It's this one.
You think this one's better?
I swear, he shook the earth with this.
But
I felt the earthquake.
He was in the air longer, I think, with the Collins one.
Yeah, he was in the air longer because of the way their bodies like interacted. He lifted him a little bit.
And he also hurt Collins.
And he hurt Collins, but this one, I mean, he hurt Utah's soul.
Yeah, you got to get some bonus points for that, though.
The way he landed on him, he rode him down.
Pause.
No Diddy.
No, that's how we say it now, right?
No Diddy. That's the new one.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. Yeah, so we got this. But, you search up anything. You think of, I don't know. Let me see what we got. You think of LeBron's shot in the play-in against Curry, where he's pointing to his eye. What would you type? You go LeBron.
He said he saw three hoops, and he shot at the middle one.
I'm seeing three.
LeBron
3-pointer, right? And then I don't know if you could do any. What else is there? Game start date. Oh, you would have to know the exact date.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact date is in that one.
But either way, let's see. Let's see how much 3-pointers he has. Okay, here we go. So these are the LeBron threes. He doesn't have too many 3-point highlights. So that you already know. This is a Christmas Day game. So you know it's definitely not this game. It's not this because he wasn't in these fake jerseys for the playoffs. So now you can look. This one, this is the no-look 3 from the bubble. You remember that no-look, the LeBron's first ever no-look 3?
Yeah, that was post-bubble.
Or right post-bubble?
Yeah.
Then there's this one. Then he hits on Sabonis, does his animation, and then you could find, the historic shot. So, I don't know. I think Top Shot actually is like a really good encyclopedia for these things.
Yeah.
You name something, like you could find the highlight now.
Right.
To a T, 5-6 different angles of the play. I don't know. And it's like high definition. You know, you're not going to, granted, you're not getting a whole highlight reel, though there are some highlight reels now on Top Shot. But yeah, you look for exact plays, you could find them. In HD, you're not dealing with grainy stuff. There's no ads. There are some cool things about Top Shot that are like beyond just collecting the cards that I'm starting to realize that I'm like, this is a resource. Like if I want to actually find something, you know, I could say, oh, like, I don't know, right here, Breonna Stewart. And it's got all her stats. So you go to the detail, or hold on. Oh, yeah, they moved the stats. They slid them down here. But yeah, you go here. It's a 3-point highlight. She played almost 34 minutes that night, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And this is when Stewie stripped it. Media 3. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just cool to me. Other than that, we got oh yeah, I was supposed to keep presenting this.
Edwards stats.
Yeah, Edwards stats. I want to get back to Edwards stats. But if you look, field goal attempts are up, highest they've ever been, and he's also shooting his highest field goal percentage that he's ever done. So there's like a vast improvement. He's shooting more and shooting more efficiently. So the confidence is up.
Right. And he's
threes, he's actually shooting less threes, but he's making, you know, it at a higher percentage.
Yeah, he's shooting better. He's shooting better from everywhere.
Yep. Free throw line, he's shooting over 80% now. He's never done that in his career. Like, this is all good stuff.
Yep.
Assists highest than ever. His turnovers are down from last year and more assists. And his personal fouls are down. He's averaging under 2 a game, which is matching his rookie year. And the one thing that you want to check is if someone is getting a lot of personal fouls, you want to check how it translates to their defense. Well, from steals from his rookie year, he's up 0.2, and he's up 0.1 blocks, and he's only up 0.1 personal fouls, which means overall he's becoming a more efficient defender as well. Small margins, but still. Even statistically, it's showing that he's doing a better job.
But his defensive rating has gotten better and better each year.
Yeah, and if you actually watch him play defense, he's playing now.
Yeah, 116 to 112, 113 to 109 this year.
It's pretty good.
And his offensive rating keeps going up too.
So is it career high? Damn. 49, 12 rebounds, 14 rebounds, 12 assists. Yeah, he's got some really good career highs, too. He's just been killing it.
Yep.
He's had to show love to Ant-Man today.
The league is in good hands. League is in good hands when LeBron, KD, Curry retires. It's definitely in good.
You got Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards, Cam Thomas. The big 3.
Yep, there's the big 3.
That's the big 3 right there.
Yep. We're not worried about Shea.
We're not worried about Shea.
Not worried about Shea.
Shea's old news.
And his foul baiting.
Right, and his little zigzaggy foul baiting play. We're tired of it. Nah, I'm
tomfoolery.
He's incredible.
And you got to remember too, Edwards is only 22.
Right.
And he's averaging, what is he averaging? 26? 26.5.
26 and a half, right?
At 22. And he keeps getting better and better. I don't know. It could be scary in a few years.
It could. I believe it. August 5th, huh? Let me see how old he is compared to Cam Thomas.
Good birth month.
August. Good birth month.
Good birth month.
So Cam Thomas is younger than Ant-Man.
Isn't that crazy? I'm older than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, you're almost a year older than Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
It is. That's insane. But yeah, they and we were just looking at that last episode. We were looking at Cam Thomas's stats where he was year 3. So Anthony Edwards, 2 months older than CT, in his 3rd year last season because he got to the league faster than CT did. 24 a game, almost 25. but he's also getting the green light from the NBA, from his team, from the media, from everybody. Everybody is green lighting Anthony Edwards, giving him confidence, telling him he's the future, telling him he's the next GOAT, telling him everything. You get what I'm saying, right? Like,
He's
people are forcibly handing the torch. It's like when Patrick had Squidward in a wheelchair, right? And he was taped up, and Patrick goes, firmly grasp it, and he sticks it right through his cast. And that's what Anthony Edwards is. He's literally Squidward in the cast. We are forcing everything on Anthony Edwards. There is not, well, I mean, granted, he'll take it. He does have the ego where he's like, give me everything. Give me it all. I'm the king, you know? But, like, seriously, he has been forced as the next guy, you know? And
yeah,
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he's not an amazing player. The title of the podcast is Ant, half man, half amazing. He's incredible. But what I'm saying is he's been praised from the jump, just like LeBron. I think it's a little easier if you're praised from the jump and you also have all this talent. And there's no barriers, there's no hurdles for you, really. The only real hurdle is like just having like a bad GM. But for the most part, like, as long as you're getting encouraged, I think it's fine. But when the narrative around you is you're this bad player and you're blah, blah, blah. Like John Collins, for example, good player, really doesn't get the respect he deserves. Why? Because since the day he got drafted, people realized he wasn't the best fit with Trae Young. So what did they do in the media? They motherfucked him the whole time. You know? Trade this guy. He's not a good defender around Trae and blah, 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 blah. And just because you're not perfect for one player, they write you off. They make you sound like you're just some bad player. And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes the narratives can actually – perception is reality pretty much in the NBA. You know, like when Cam Thomas scores 30, he's a gunner. Of course he scores 30. When Cade scores 30 – they're in the same draft class. Cade was drafted in the first round. He scores 30, and they go, see how promising this guy is? You know, it's all about tone and implicit bias and the perception. And I think the fact that he's, like I said, has gotten the green light from everybody, fans, media, the league, his team, everything. You feel emboldened. You feel empowered. And he has been empowered. And this is what I'm saying is more teams need to empower players to get the best out of them and not always just like throw some dirt on them or try to make it hard or get them a struggle story so they got to get it the hard way and everything, you know? And I feel like there's definitely some players, they make them go through the ringer for it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all. But yeah, he's doing incredible and he's doing good with the praise. There's been people who have gotten this type of praise and squandered it, like a Ben Simmons. Coming into the league, everyone agreed he's LeBron James without a jumper, which, I mean, LeBron James had an average, slightly above average shot, you know, his whole career. He's never been a bum as a shooter, but never been one of the greatest. But, like, Ben Simmons got that praise immediately. He was making all-NBA defensive teams, all-star teams, all-NBA third teams, I think. Like, this is a guy who was praised from the beginning. And you got to also see the downsides of some guys who do get praised from the beginning.
Right.
So I'm proud of Anthony Edwards. I think he's been like really mature and he's handled all the praise really well. You know, there's people who go crazy with praise. Most respectfully speaking, like Len Bias got drafted, thought he was the man, bought a whole bunch of coke and OD'd when he got drafted. Like, seriously, like every player is set up to be in that situation too, potentially. You get all this money, all this praise, all this whatever. You're partying in college. You're like, I just partied in college and they're giving me first round pick. They're giving me 50 million or whatever, you know, in your first couple of years. You think you're the man. Like, I fear for LaMelo. I genuinely do, but I know he's got a good family as much as people want to talk shit. But LaMelo is now, actually, starting next year, goes into that extension, which is $250 million. Right now, he's still on his rookie deal. Next year, he goes on a $250 million contract. What has LaMelo done? Me and you were the biggest Big Baller Brand fans. We got gear. We love the Ball brothers. Everything. We've always rooted for them. What has he done for $250 million? He's a $250 million player already. He's already got the contract inked, signed, and he hasn't earned a damn thing. What incentivizes him to get better?
It's a good point, especially when you're in Charlotte.
Seriously, though, $250 million contract.
And especially when you're in Charlotte, too, and you don't have really a whole lot of players to build around.
You're in Charlotte. Your injury history. You made the playoffs, I think, once. And, I mean, they got sent out of there pretty quick.
They made the playoffs?
Play-in.
Oh, they made the play-in. Okay, yeah. And he's missed a lot of time with all of his ankle injuries, too. I mean, he hasn't played a full season yet. I mean, he's missed plenty of time in his career.
And that's kind of where I'm at with this, like, you know, you could give it's all like situational. And I think that's really what it comes down to. But you could give all these praise to people, and it just comes down to maybe just who they are as a person more than anything.
Yeah, he played.
Giving LaMelo $250 million before he's accomplished anything is scary because
right.
You incentivized him, and you just said, like, here you go, here's everything.
But he's played.
Now it's up to him to now put in the work. It's almost like Andrew Wiggins. Remember, we'll give you the extension if you promise to work hard this time. And he goes, I promise. give me $200 million. I promise. Come on. Have I ever been wrong before?
Have I ever been wrong before?
And it's like, actually, you've been bad the whole time, and that's what we're saying. Do you promise you'll try hard this time? Because you haven't at all this time.
Right.
You know, so.
But LaMelo's played 75 games was the most he played in 2021, 2022. And then his rookie year, he played 51, and he still won Rookie of the Year, which he shouldn't have.
Yep.
And then 36 last season, and he's going to end up playing just 22 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
But
LaMelo was lighting the world on fire that rookie season.
The rookie season, but who is the rookie that should have won it? I don't know why
Edwards.
I can't. That's what it was. That's what I thought. Yeah, Anthony.
It was Edwards. And when I'm looking at the stats right here, he played 72 games. And I think this is one of the reasons why they did that 65-game rule.
Yeah, because
I think they realized they gave an award to LaMelo that should have went to Edwards. And if Edwards is going to be this GOAT, he needs that Rookie of the Year for his storyline. So they never want to botch this again. They have to rewrite history to never do it again, to repeat it.
Yeah, because LaMelo was ahead in all the averages, but he didn't play nearly as many games. Anthony Edwards played 21 more games than LaMelo did.
Remember what LaMelo was? Every game was a highlight.
Yeah, he was putting up some really good numbers.
He came off of arm surgery and threw a full court hook pass the night he came back from surgery.
What did he have? That fractured wrist?
Yeah, he had a fractured wrist his rookie year. That's why he was out and didn't play all those games. But he was in the lead that whole time. Edwards wasn't even starting in the beginning of the year. LaMelo's getting triple doubles. So you have to remember what the real storyline was. Edwards just finished out the year a little stronger, but LaMelo actually was able to finish the year as well. So no one was like, all right, well, we can't take it from LaMelo. He wasn't out at the end of the year. He got hurt 60% of the year, 60% of the way through, and then maybe to 75.
Right.
60 to 75%. That's where he missed his time. So it was just this random kind of, or maybe after the All-Star game, something like that, he hurt his wrist. And it just didn't really matter. It was a low period in the NBA season where no one cares anyway. So no one really missed it. And then he came back for the end of the year, lit it up. He dunked on Sabonis on the putback. That was nuts. His rookie year. He hit that. Remember the spinning three that he hit?
Yeah. He
hit the whirl around three. What else? He did a couple other crazy ass things his rookie year that they were everywhere. The highlights were everywhere. It's just who hits a spinning three in the NBA? Who's throwing these wild hook passes? People throw full court passes, but the way he threw just the hook pass was different to me. The putback on Sabonis was huge. You're this is a rookie point guard throwing putbacks down.
Yeah, he's still playing pickup basketball out there too.
Yeah, and he's still playing.
It's not a game to him. It's just a pickup game.
The NBA is a pickup game, though. So I was listening to – who was I listening to? Jaime Jaquez recently went on, I think, the Old Man in the Three with JJ Redick and the generic white guy.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know the Old Man in the Three?
No, I know the Old Man in the Three. I don't know who the other guy is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know
Oh.
what he looks like, right?
Yeah.
He's the generic white guy. That's the theme of our show. That's the joke, is that
Right.
every NBA player started a podcast and just casted a random white guy that just sits there and shuts up.
Yeah, like in the Jalen Brunson and the Josh Hart podcast too.
Like, you name it, everybody has a generic white guy. The best white guy they got out there right now is Paul George's white guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a white guy! He really is. He's putting on for us.
What were they calling? What were they calling that Jack Dolkey kid? Cracker of the day.
So okay, we'll talk about that. Antonio Brown, the old wide receiver, he does this thing where he calls himself his own media company because everyone says he has CTE. He says he is CTESPN.
Yep.
And he does a highlight of the day, like how people do donkey of the day in the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God and them. He does cracker of the day, where he finds a white person making a difference, making an impact on this earth. And cracker of the day was Jack Golke, who hit 10 threes against Kentucky and sent 2 top 5 lottery picks home like they were trash. And this guy goes, last year, I was picking up DoorDash an hour away from my campus because he transferred. He was at a D2 school, and he was a fifth-year senior. Then he does a post-grad year to get into Oakland. He was never a Division I basketball player. This is his first year in Division I basketball, playing in the tournament, doing all the things, and he made it and eliminated Kentucky, which is incredible. And if we really think about it, maybe a few episodes ago, we started talking a little bit about the draft, a little about March Madness, who's a keeper, who's a sleeper, what do we think? And I said Kentucky. So I didn't say they would win it. I say you get a guaranteed spot to the Sweet 16 with 2 great guards. If you have 2 guards, you can make it to the Sweet 16. Did they actually have 2 guards is the real question. Were they overhyped, overvalued? Are they overrated? Right. And that might be the case. We got Reed Shepherd, who was the John Stockton comp that everyone was saying before the tournament. Oh, this is the next Stockton. He's incredible. This guy could go second in the draft. He could go number 2. And I'm seeing him on draft projections. I'm seeing all this stuff. For the most part, I see a lot of set threes with this guy. I'm not seeing too much of the assists. I'm not seeing Stockton. I'll tell you that much. And then 2, the other guy is Rob Dillingham. So he was also coined to be the top, in the top 3, locked, guaranteed. Dillingham's getting drafted. Drake already has a tattoo of Dillingham on his arm. The dick riding's already beginning from Drake. So it's just, it's going to be the case. He's going to get drafted early. But this is what I'm saying. You got 2 top 5 picks, and they just got sent packing by a D2 Uber driver.
And I think Golke outscored those 2 himself. In his first NCAA tournament game, he did that.
Yeah, they're saying Golke's to the Heat.
Right?
They're saying he's a Heat guy.
They're like, Pat Riley's going to make it work.
Pat Riley will make it work. You trade Duncan Robinson, and you bring in the next Duncan Robinson.
Nah, I don't know about that. Can't trade.
They're looking for somebody to replace Strus.
Trade Jovic.
What do you need to trade for? You just draft the guy. You don't need to trade for him.
Oh yeah, just draft him. That's fine.
They're gonna trade Jovic to Oakland.
Keep Jovic.
keep Jovic probably could go. He just graduated from high school.
Yeah, he's what? How old is Jovic? Like 19 or 20, right?
19. He graduated high school in the finals last year.
Wow.
I think that's what happened.
That's crazy.
Something like that. I think that's what happened. So yeah, let me cross off this Reed Shepherd thing. I had to get that off my chest.
I guess so.
And I did. I prefaced it last show. I said, I haven't watched too much of basketball. These people are calling him John Stockton. Let's see for it. And we go look them up, and all he was doing was set threes. And I'm like, all right, this guy's kind of whack. All All right, so we did cracker of the day. Oh, another thing. Last show, I was saying the NBA is trying to hide Kenny Lofton because he ruins everything that they're trying to do with basketball. They turn these little skinny fucks into shooters, and they don't do shit but shoot. And what did I say? Kenny Lofton is bad for the league because him and Zion could do whatever the fuck they want. And what happens? Kenny Lofton finally actually gets sent back to the G League. And you know what he does? 52 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists.
Damn.
Last show, didn't I say the dude is actually incredible, and it's almost like egregious that the NBA isn't having him on a team? And then he goes back and drops 52 and 16 with 5 assists. He's a point guard that can get 16 rebounds and 52 points and still have dimes. Like, he's a center. He's a point guard.
He was on the 76ers team? The 76ers G League team? Was that it?
Is he on the 76ers G League team? Because he got traded recently.
Yeah, because I thought he signed some contract, some 10-day or something with the Sixers, I thought.
So, yeah, I think he's on the Sixers G League squad.
I don't know if he played an actual game with the Sixers, but
I've been telling y'all, this dude's real. Whenever he got real minutes for Memphis, he put up real numbers. And then they'd give him 5 minutes, and then he'd get like 2 points, a rebound, and nothing else. And they're like, see? Then they give him 25 minutes, and the dude literally almost puts up like a triple-double almost every time. Because he just does a lot of things very well. He's very aggressive. And guys like Derrick Jones Jr., like, they can't handle him. He's twice, Kenny Lofton weighs twice as much as Derrick Jones Jr. He's going to throw that dude into the stanchion, and Derrick Jones Jr. is going to be sitting next to a fan. Like,
yeah.
That's what's going to happen every time, and you can't stop it. It's not even illegal. Like, you can't even call a foul. He's just not strong enough to hold his position on the block. And that's what Kenny Lofton does. He'll take your point guard down to the block, beat his ass. He'll take your small forward down, beat his ass. He'll do something with your center, pull him out, and now he's dropping a dime back door because he pulled the center out. Like, the dude's good.
Yeah, he used weight well.
I'm a fan of him, and I think people are sleeping. They got rid of David Roddy. David Roddy's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah,
Kenny Lofton is the real deal.
Is he your next Cam Thomas?
No.
He's not. No. Flat out, no.
You have to understand, like, the thing with Cam Thomas is do you know he was a consensus 5-star All-American? You know what that means?
What does it mean?
That means all the top coaches in the country in top media voted on a top, like, the 5 stars. Consensus means it was actually voted. Some people like, I was a 5-star recruit. Yeah, on one website, on 24/7 Sports, you were a 5-star recruit, but ESPN had you at 3.
Right.
And Under Armour had you at 4. But when you are a consensus 5-star, that means the entire country votes on who the best players are in the country. And he was voted one of them. Like,
right.
That's a real 5-star. There's people, you got to always listen for that. There's like, that's the clause. If you don't hear consensus, which means like almost unanimous, like it's like that. Like, people are voting for this and there's no argument. The top people, the people who are in the know. And I don't know. I've just always had my theories. Everything I've seen from him, he just got it. Even in high school, like his high school tape coming to I always tune in. I always watch the Oak Hill stuff. I always got to keep up with Oak Hill, and especially because they come to Springfield for hoop ball.
Yep.
So I always check in. I always watch the highlights. I always stay tuned, or I'm there. I'm at the actual event. So it's either that or I'm checking in online. But from what I've seen from Cam Thomas, 2 years in a row, you typically don't get 2 good looks at Oak Hill players because the coach doesn't play juniors. He only plays seniors. It's like this. It's an unwritten rule that the coach has. So, and especially at like the star position, he only does seniors because that's what Oak Hill is. It's a farm for D1 recruits. He guarantees every player that you're going D1. And the way he does it is you got to wait your turn. I'll get you to any school you want. You're a sophomore. Relax. You're gonna get recruited in 2 years. You're gonna stay here. And I don't know if you know about Oak Hill, but it's a school that's in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm talking the boonies. In the middle of just woods, no cell phone service, no nothing, no neighboring town. I've heard a lot of interviews with Oak Hill players and stuff and just heard all these stories. So when you go there, it's basketball. You're in the gym, you're eating, you're going to sleep. You're back in the gym, you're eating, you're going to sleep, you're doing your workout, you're taking a nap, you're taking a shower, you're going back to workout, you're doing stretching, you're doing lifting. Like, it is the mini NBA with damn near no academics, no academia at all. It's not present. And so that's really what they're doing. And you have to understand that you have to stay committed to it if you want your dream fulfilled. And that's the way he does it. But Cam Thomas, they had I think they had an injury. I think they had a player fall off the team. And then they had their captain, Cole Anthony, say, listen, Cam Thomas got to start with me. It's the only way we're going to win. And about halfway through the junior year, he started playing Cam Thomas at shooting guard. And that's when they took off and did their thing that year. And then his senior year, he got to do his own thing, as every senior gets to play at Oak Hill. So he got a little head start and was known as the highest scorer ever, or is the highest scorer ever at Oak Hill, which is huge praise. Carmelo Anthony went there. Kevin Durant went there. These are guys who were 6'10" in high school and had the same bag they do now. And they still couldn't put up the same amount of points. And a little bit is because of this. He got a year and a half of Oak Hill instead of a year.
Right.
But even that, you got to understand. He got the nod as a junior, which doesn't happen. And then he also just set the school record, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
You see a lot of these things that, he's hitting unique points, like these milestones that no one else is hitting. And he's doing it with a unique game. Kenny Lofton, I think he's a little bit more body, a little more strength. I don't think it's going to fit him overall. I don't think he'll be good in 82 games plus playoffs in 100 games. He's not built for that type of stuff. But to come in and just be like a Paul Reed, when the main guy is out, run a little bit of stuff through him, he's great for that. And I think he could build up into something even better. Who knows what he could do? But I think there's a lot of untapped potential. I think there's maybe even a team that would just be like, all right, well, you're going to go on a diet. If you want to play for us, we'll give you a contract. You can play. Get his body right, do whatever you want to do with him. I think he's a blank canvas, and he could do anything. He's got a handle. He could play defense. The one thing limiting him is actually his height. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And being 6'6" probably limits him what he could really do. But why can't he be a Draymond?
But he does use his size well in the post, though.
He uses his size well. He's got really long arms, surprisingly. Yeah, I don't see why he can't do what Draymond does. And that's how I feel. I've always felt that about him. You see a lot of big game with him. He can pass well, too. He's got the vision. I don't know. I just think he's probably just got to get 82 game shape,
Right.
I'm praying, dude. There's people who don't even want him in the league, don't even think he's nice. I'm saying he's nice. He's just got to prepare yourself properly. Be a professional.
He's listed at 275. He's probably more than that.
275. I'm 200 pounds.
That's what Basketball Reference has him as. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my
God. Embiid's got to be 300 if he's
Yeah, Embiid's
got two of some of the fattest centers in the league. Or two of some of the fattest players. I guess Lofton's not a center, but they have Embiid as 280.
All right, so what else do we got for March Madness?
Somebody's lying about their weight there.
Right? Somebody's lying. It's like when Wembanyama stands next to Bol last night. Did you see the game?
Yeah, and Bol was really upset at the refs.
Oh, yeah, he said, y'all dick riding him.
He's like, I get it.
Y'all dick riding him. But he also is saying, I get it. You know why, right?
Because the NBA is trying to prop him up. He sees it.
No. It's for the viral moment. He knows he's getting set up. You got to think beyond it.
Oh,
next
God.
level.
Here we go.
It's Shaq. Shaq said the Bol thing about Wembanyama. You don't remember that quote?
Oh, I've seen. What did he say? We already have Wembanyama, right? Didn't he say something like that? Like we've already seen we've already seen Wembanyama in Bol or something before Wembanyama made it to the league.
But he was also saying Wemby's like a better version of him.
Oh no, I thought I thought he was saying before, like, we've already seen this kind of player. We already have
Oh,
him.
we've already seen this. Oh, he was dissing Wemby. Yeah, that's true. He was, I guess,
I thought
dissing
I
Wemby.
thought it was last season though. He's like, we already have Bol.
Yeah, I guess he did say it
So
that way.
I remember him saying that last season. I remember last season, not this season, but he actually sees Wembanyama play. Well, Shaq doesn't watch games anyway,
But I think the image of Wembanyama beating Bol was the thing.
yeah.
It was to show like Wemby is better than Bol. Actually, Shaq was. I think that's what I meant. But yeah,
Okay.
Shaq was wrong in saying like we got a Bol. It was more to say like, look, he's busting Bol's ass. Bol can't stop this guy. But
Right.
he was saying like, yeah, y'all dick riding. Poor Bol.
That was hilarious.
You know, Bol wears like a size 12 shoe. He's like 7'2".
That's small. Wow. I wear like a 9.
Right. I'm like, I wear a 10 and a half. And this
I wear
dude's 7'2". And he's lanky.
He is.
But anyway, what else we got? We got oh yeah, March Madness. Who you got? UConn's doing great still. How you feeling?
Yeah, so I had for my Final Four.
You didn't put UConn in your Final Four, right?
No, for the men. For the men,
for the men, yeah. Oh yeah. Your women you didn't put in the Final Four. But
I got the men winning it. So I got UConn, UNC, Houston, and Kansas. And Kansas just got knocked out yesterday by Gonzaga. So, and I'm still pretty confident in that UConn pick because they were. And if you look at last season's tournament, I think they beat every team by double digits. And granted, they played Stetson in this one, so they should beat Stetson by. I think they beat them by 39. But yeah, they look really good. And a lot of upsets too this year. You had Iowa State. No, you had Oakland beat Kentucky, and Oakland was 14, Kentucky was 3. You had number 11 Oregon beat number 6 South Carolina, and this guy Jermaine Cousinard put up 40 points. Then there was a couple other 11 seeds beating 6 seeds too. So there's been plenty of upsets this year. Where was it? I think it was NC State beat Texas Tech 80-67. Then you had that Oregon beat South Carolina 87-73. And then as far as the women's bracket, I had UCLA winning it. And I think I had UCLA, South Carolina. Then I had UConn. I had UConn making it to the Final Four. And I can't remember what the other team was, but UConn looked great yesterday. UConn looked great. Ashlyn Shade looked great, and she had 26 points, are the most for a UConn player in the NCAA tournament. And then
really?
UConn freshman that scored more than 25 points in an NCAA tournament game dating back to 2010, Brianna Stewart, Paige Beckers, and then Ashlyn Shade. And also Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Edwards had their first double-doubles in the NCAA tournament. So a lot of
what if they actually like turn it on this year?
Yeah, like
because this is the year everyone writes off UConn. This is the year they like win it in everyone's face.
Yeah, like this has been one of the first years where I don't think they can win it. Last year was one of those years, and they ended up losing in the Sweet 16, and they played Ohio State in the Sweet 16, and they couldn't get the ball past the half-court line. That's how bad they were. They didn't have anybody to handle the ball. They had Nika Mule and Az Fudd carrying the ball. They didn't have Beckers. They just got KK Arnold, who's a really good ball handler, freshman, and she didn't really play that great yesterday. But and honestly, they're in a really good bracket because they play. So they'll be playing Syracuse next, and they have Deja Fair, who's really good. She dropped 32 yesterday, and she scored Syracuse's last 13 points when they beat Arizona by 5. But then if they get past Syracuse, then they might play. It's either Maine or Duke, and that was they just lost against Ohio State, and so they could rematch Ohio State in the Sweet 16. It's not Maine. Ohio State beat Maine, so it's Ohio State or Duke. And then, as I talked about before, Ohio State beat UConn in the Sweet 16. So I think they have a really good path to making it. They have a really easy path. They don't have to worry about South Carolina, who they lost to this year, until, if they make it to the championship. They wouldn't have to worry about Notre Dame, who they lost to, until later on as well. So I think looking at it now, they have a much easier path than I thought. So I think they actually have a really good chance. But South Carolina looks scary still. UCLA looks really good. Stanford looks really good. LSU didn't look great in their game. They beat Rice. LSU was a number 3 seed. They beat 14 seed Rice by 10, and LSU turned the ball over 24 times.
Also, what's her name? Kim is facing some allegations.
That's great, and she had it ready too, so she knows she did some shit. She knows she's in trouble.
She had the reading glasses on.
It was a 3-minute and 36-minute video. She was talking about her allegations.
What are the allegations?
I don't know if this guy from the Washington Post was trying to get past players and past coaches from her, I guess her Baylor days, trying to talk about, I don't know how she was as a coach or how she was as a person or something. And there was another report, I don't know when it was, but she was trying to, that she supposedly was trying, when she was coaching Brittany Griner at Baylor, she was telling Brittany Griner not to come out. I guess there was, come out as a gay.
Oh, well.
That was one of the things I read. That was like, I don't know if it was, maybe it might have been last year when it came out.
I would just say people shouldn't play dumb to what the organization is. Baylor is a Catholic college, a private Catholic college.
Right.
That's it. Just to respect religion and everything else. I kind of get it. It's like BYU. Same thing. Players are not supposed to be doing alcohol. You can't even kiss a girl on campus, I think. I think it's like.
But Kim Mulkey seems like the person that would, be part of an abusive environment. But whatever.
He has an alpha type personality.
Yeah, seems like a really mean person. But the thing is, whatever she's done, it's worked. She's won 4 championships. She's won 3.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't need these pussy coaches. Well, remember I was talking to you about this before. So with these pro player coaches, they don't really amount to anything long term. I'd say the best pro player coach, looking back at it, is probably just Pop.
Yeah,
and what he did was he more fostered an environment that he took his basketball knowledge and found a bunch of international people, great people that did they found a role for all these players. Found people with unique skill sets, put them together, didn't make it a stressful situation, let them gel, let them develop chemistry, and they played good.
Yeah.
But I think that playbook is kind of like overused and gone now. People are too nice to the players. The players are paid too much, and it just is what it is. There's no turning back.
Yeah, and they were
faced back in the tube.
Right, and they were asking Angel Reese, and she was fine with it about how Mulkey is or how her coaching style is, and they asked Anissa Morrow, she was fine with it. Then they asked Haley Van Lith, and she was like, "It is what it is." So she didn't. That was basically what she said. She was basically like, "It is what it is. We know who she is. We know who she's gonna be." So she kind of like she was the only one who told the truth halfway.
I wish she would have said a little more, but also been more on Kim's side. She's been like, yeah, she's a hard ass, but she's getting a lot of people in order. We need some, structure. We need some structure.
Yeah, she didn't really say that. She probably should have said that.
But that's the problem is people don't see that stuff as good. I remember kind of fearing my coaches a little bit, but in a healthy way. I didn't think my coach was gonna literally beat my ass.
Right.
I didn't want to get chewed out. I didn't want to, run an extra couple laps because I see what happens to people who, do the wrong thing on a team and get chewed out and stuff. I don't want to be that guy that makes everyone run more. So I'll do my job. I shut up and do my job. I practice. I run my laps. I do whatever. You tell me to do this drill, I'll do the drill, coach. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do the drill. Thank you for teaching me. It don't matter what it is, but it's just you need to respect your coach. You need to respect your elders. Me as a teacher, I've coached. I'm a teacher as well. When you have a student who doesn't respect you or doesn't want to listen or anything else, they're never going to do good on the test. I don't care how independent they think they are, how smart they think they are. They could go take the test themselves and go figure it out. It's hard, Like,
Right.
you're not going to do it by yourself. You need a team. You need a coach. You need an organization. You need trainers. You need to respect everybody and what they do. You need to respect everyone's job. Everyone has a job. And you need to just respect everyone's role and what they do. Unless they don't deserve the respect. Unless they're not working hard, they got to get checked or fired. And that's it.
Yeah, and
Like,
she that she
I don't
deserves.
know. I don't know how crazy Kim Mulkey gets, but everyone's a soft pussy. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about, oh, this coach is mean. And she wants to win. She's getting paid a lot of fucking money to win. LSU pays her like $500,000 to win, to keep people tuned in, to keep people coming to the school, like everything. You know, Alabama football, a lot of people go to the school because the football team's good. Like, there's a lot of cause and effect of this. People want to go to UNC. Why? Michael Jordan went to UFC. UNC. Like, he went to UNC. People love that shit. The Tar Heels, the UN, like Duke. People go to these schools because of the sports lore. Like, people like that shit. They want to be a part of it. And Mulkey is trying to foster an environment where it breeds success and it breeds winning.
Yep.
Overall, she has players going to the WNBA. She's making the Sweet 16 or making the Elite 8, the Final Four. She's making success. She's showing, like, I could take you here every time. Follow my path. I'll bring you here. I know the blueprint. I got this. Just trust me. You know? And I think too many people will just, oh, one player transfers. Now she's at North Dakota State and going, yeah, it's fucking Kim Mulkey. And then some little beat writer in college who's, 17, 18 wants to write a story about, oh my God, I got a Kim Mulkey, he's a bitch. And then he writes a whole story about how Kim Mulkey's evil. Like, and then it just spreads. And then one other player who played for 1 year that, she transferred or who knows what. Yeah, she benched me. She was mean. She didn't give me a chance, Like, I feel like there are these situations where you get maybe a couple slackers who just are the loudest ones in the room, and people hear the couple people who were fuck-ups on the team. And they take their word because they heard their word first. So now anything Kim Mulkey says, she sounds defensive. She sounds this. Sounds like a lawyer. She's got to sound prepared. She's got her glasses. Like, you know what I'm saying? You never know who these leaks came from and what's true and what's not. What I do know is she's bred success. She's recruited the best wherever she's gone, and she's beat the best wherever she's gone. She's got a formula to her success. Some people don't like her politics. She is very right-wing and open Republican and everything else. She's said a couple comments, but also she works in the Deep South. She literally was a head coach at a private Catholic school at Baylor.
You should know what to expect with her.
You should know what to expect from her. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise.
But the other thing is, like, Anissa Morrow and Angel Reese were fine with it. And you see, those are two of some of their best players. Angel Reese is, we don't know if she could have her fifth-year option, so she can come back to LSU. But, I mean, she's going to be a top 10 draft pick at least. Anissa Morrow is going to be a high draft pick now that she's getting the spotlight playing for LSU. So I think
her top benched Angel Reese in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and she didn't play for 4 games.
So you got all these rumors that Kim Mulkey is a terrible person. She suspended Angel Reese, and Angel Reese comes back and goes, no, she's good.
Right.
Whether she is shutting up for the betterment of everything, whatever.
It can't be that bad.
It's a testament to Angel Reese, too, that even if, let's say Kim Mulkey is a bad person. Let's look at it from another coin. Kim Mulkey is a bad person. Angel Reese bit her tongue. And she just said, listen, whatever. What did she say exactly?
Who? Angel Reese
about Kim.
Oh, she says, like, she was saying that Kim gets on her nerves sometimes, but she loves her, and that she knows that she gets on Kim's nerves sometimes, but they're fine with it. That was pretty much what she said.
Oh, okay.
And then Anissa Morrow was saying she's a tough coach, but I like that.
Yeah.
So it was more seeing how passionate Kim Mulkey is as a coach, but knowing that she respects the game and she wants to win and she means the best for her players.
And that's really what it is at the end of the day.
Haley Van Lith was like, it is what it is.
Like, yeah. It's Haley Van Lith's first year there, too. She didn't get, recruited there, all that stuff. She doesn't owe Kim Mulkey anything.
And she's horrible, too. She's been horrible.
Right, and she's not playing well. She's not getting the minutes.
or worse season with LSU.
Yeah.
And Morrow got off to a slow start, and now she's playing, and now she's been one of their best players this season.
Yeah, I just think it just comes down to having a good coach and, respecting the coach. And I think that's what Angel Reese did. I like Reese for that.
I do.
She could have easily came out, especially with how outspoken she is and kind of just, who she is. She could just say, like, fuck Kim Mulkey, and everyone would take her side. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone loves Angel Reese.
But
So
also,
the fact that Angel Reese is saying, the girl's cool. She, she gets worked up. I get worked up, but we care about the game. That's why we want to be the best. And sometimes we see something that's not making us or allowing us to be the best. So we get upset and we voice our opinions. I feel like that's more constructive. At least Kim Mulkey's not saying, you're a piece of shit. She's saying, you need to work harder.
Well, maybe she is saying
There's a difference. When you tell somebody you need to work hard, that means you believe in them. You believe what they could do, and they're going to achieve whatever they work hard at.
Right.
Like, that's the difference. And that's what I was saying with Doc Rivers, too, a few pods ago, was you got to give a shit. And the players have to know you give a shit. And being a mean coach, in a way, shows you give a shit.
It works a lot.
It shows you're not going to put up with nonsense. You want it done a specific way, and you want it done this way, and it's got to get done this way. This is how it's going to be successful. They've done it. They've proved it with a blueprint. That's the one thing. Like, if she's just some random first-year coach yelling at people, yeah, maybe she doesn't have the gravitas and the respect of her players yet. But she should have the respect of her players.
Right.
As much as she told Brittany Griner not to come out or whatever the story is, was she protecting her player? Probably.
That's another good point, too, because she was probably going to face a lot of backlash.
She was going to face a lot of backlash. She maybe could have got kicked out of Baylor because I'm telling you, BYU football players or something like there's been a player that got caught with like a girl or something and he got kicked off the team because they're like, no premarital sex at BYU. Like this type of stuff has happened at private institutions before. Who knows what could have happened to Brittany Griner? She could have got shamed in class by students. Who knows? Like it could have got really weird. There could have been right-wing protests at the games on Baylor, on the campus, and they can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like
it could have affected
get weird.
WNBA career too.
Could have messed up her WNBA career somehow. She could have said something stupid in front of a mic because everything's revved up and they're calling her names. And you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what the real situation is? But what we do know is she creates winners.
She does.
And I'll take that every time.
Right.
Coach K, for a very long time, was creating winners. And he was a military dictator, general type of coach. People don't know that about Coach K. Like, Coach K will cuss you out.
Or you look at Gino Auriemma, who has the most championships in college basketball, men or women.
He'll say some things that'll hurt you for years.
Yeah. So
like
he's got 11 chips for it. So
yeah, Gino, like as much as he like smiles and everything, he doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a happy guy. Same with Coach K. He's always looking happy and stuff. They're all, oh, he's a great coach. All that. Nah, as soon as the gym doors close, it's a different person. Yeah. That's the guy for the TV. You're gonna see the real coach when the gym doors close.
Right.
And you just, I'm pretty sure you do too. Just listen to a lot of media, interviews with players, coaches, and just hearing these background stories, you could fill in the real story of what's going on most of the time. You can kind of understand what's happening. Right. It's like McGregor and Chandler. McGregor's dodging the fight.
We know that. That's what it is?
We know that now.
Or he's just coked up.
Maybe that too. I just don't think he's ready for the fight, and he's purposely coked up so he's not ready for the fight. Like, he's creating an excuse on why he's not in the fight yet.
It seems like.
Wait, he's not ready yet. He's not training. He's not out of USADA. They don't go by USADA anymore. So USADA's not holding you back.
Well, now he's saying the UFC is not giving him a call. But whatever happened 2 days ago.
But then the other day, he's talking about he just got off the phone with an agent and the fight's booked for Chandler.
Yeah, and Chandler confirmed that too. Chandler said the fight is happening. They didn't say
not saying shit.
Yeah, they didn't say the official date. I mean, those two guys have been saying June 29th for I think UFC 303, but we still haven't gotten an official word from Dana White and the UFC yet.
I think it should happen like next week.
I agree. Put
That would be bananas.
Put Blanchfield and Fury out on the co-main event.
Yeah. Respectfully, two of these fight nights in a row with Namajunas starting or being at the top, and then Fury on Blanchfield.
There's 3 of them. There's 3 in a row before we get to UFC 300. There's 3 fight nights in a row.
Yeah. This one should be interesting. Brendan Allen and Chris Curtis.
Yeah, and Chris Curtis knocked him out before.
Cool. But yeah, I think there should be some they need to spice this shit up.
Yeah.
And the reason why they can't find a fight, do you understand why they can't give McGregor this fight too? It's about pay. Let me share this screen with you real quick. Just the more you learn about UFC, listen to Chael, listen to other people talk, listen to Ariel, you kind of put these stories together. So the UFC has a rule. Title fights go last, right? But then it's by weight class about who is the last title fight if there's multiple title fights. So here's a title fight, straw weight. These girls are fighting. Light heavyweight goes next.
Yep.
Do you see the problem?
Well, I mean, I don't know. No, I don't see. Oh, well, McGregor would have.
Let me explain the problem to you.
McGregor would have to be the co-main event.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
McGregor would have to go here.
Oh.
But wait, this is for the BMF belt.
Oh,
McGregor would have to go here.
But McGregor did say he wanted a 3-round fight, though.
But
he did say that.
That means he has to go 4th. McGregor doesn't get paid like a guy who goes 4th. True. Nor does Chandler. So if you really look at this, they're paying the winner of this, probably Pereira.
Yeah, it'll be
they're giving him who's defending it? It's Pereira, right?
Yeah, he beat Prohaska.
Yeah, he beat Prohaska for the belt. Jamal Hill's coming back, but he relinquished the title, yada yada. So if he wins, they have to pay him a portion of the proceeds because he defended the title. You don't get paid extra money when you win the title. You only get paid extra money when you defend the title. So hypothetically, Weili defends the title. Pierre defends the title. They have to give 5% of all, pay-per-view event money to him. Weili, another 5% to her. 10% of the extra profits that they don't expect to pay anybody. If he loses and Weili loses, they're not paying anybody the bonus.
Right.
Same with Gaethje. Gaethje can defend the BMF belt this time. Technically, under the UFC's contract clause, since he's defending a belt, he will get the portion of the pay-per-view. He'll get participation. So you have 3 people who potentially have participation at UFC 300. You can't put Conor on it. There's too much money. You're going to go in the negative. It's a math equation more than anything. It's a business. They got to profit or it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's
so you can't put him on 300. Financially, it doesn't make sense. You also can't put him on a fight night because these are the nights they pay these guys $60K.
Yeah. Makes no sense to do that. He has to be on a pay-per-view. Has to be the main event of the pay-per-view.
He has to be a main event or co-main event on a pay-per-view. Can't put him on here either, but he could be a co.
But it's in Brazil. I don't know if he'd get the... I don't know if he'd
301's in Brazil?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, there's not a real opportunity for them to fight. It's just not there. The money doesn't match up, so McGregor doesn't want to fight there. You're not going to put McGregor on 4th. He makes too much money. It's not profitable. I don't know. That's just the way. That's the way I think it really is. I think business is like that, and at the same time, he's really not willing to pick a weight class buckle down to a camp to actually get ready for the fight. And I don't think he really wants to fight Chandler 100%. I think he probably has his eyes set on other things.
Like acting in another terrible movie.
Acting in Roadhouse. And I think he probably wants the third fight with Diaz. He probably wants to get the win back on Poirier. Like this Michael Chandler thing, you got to remember, it was manufactured. Michael Chandler came into the UFC from Bellator, and what did he do? He came in, he knocked out Dan Hooker in 1 minute, and then grabbed the mic and said, do you remember?
Yeah, and then he fought. What was the other one?
No, McGregor didn't care. McGregor didn't have no beef with the dude. The dude came in and wanted the money fight immediately.
And then
That's all he wanted.
He called for McGregor in another fight too.
Which one was that? He called for McGregor again after another fight. The dude's thirsty for a payday. And I think McGregor sees through it, and he's like, I just don't want to, like, there's a lot of, like, ego and weird shit and money and everything. Yeah, it's a lot more than just, we can't pick out a date. We don't know the weight.
It was after the Ferguson fight when he called out McGregor again.
Yeah. And he just keeps calling McGregor out. McGregor's never called him out, ever. He doesn't give a shit about Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
You know, it's just there's no real thing there. There's not actual beef. That's why they had to manufacture it and do a show. And then McGregor didn't even care about him. He's fucking was pushing him.
He didn't show up to the
He didn't show up to weigh-ins. He was coming up, and then he'd come into the gym dumb late. And then Michael Chandler's trying to talk shit when we fight. And then he would talk 185. Then Michael Chandler's like, what? Fine, I'll fight at 185. But McGregor is constantly he's made barriers for Chandler, and Chandler has had to like kind of just go over the top every time and agree to crazy like agreements, like crazy requirements in this fight. You know,
Chandler just wants to fight.
He wanted to fight him at 155. McGregor wants to fight him at 170. And then Chandler agrees to 170. Now McGregor goes 185. And then Chandler goes, 185. And then now he agreed to two different weights. And then McGregor hasn't said anything back. Other than be coked up next to Cristiano Ronaldo, be coked up in another interview, be coked up in another interview, or at least appears to be coked up in another interview. And that's what everyone's saying he is. So,
and also the Diaz fight would be so much easier for him too. The Chandler fight actually, that might be one of the toughest fights for him to come back to, especially
that's a tough fight to come back to,
especially since he's not fought in since 2022, right? Since some point in 2022. So it's like to have all that time out of the octagon and have to face a guy like Chandler in your first fight back when you're probably
and it's his first fight back from the broken leg.
When you're not in your prime, that's pretty tough.
Yeah. So that's just I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of gray area and all these little red flags popping up all over the place with this McGregor Chandler fight. I think it should just be like this pop-up thing in a 1 week notice and gets everyone hyped. That's the best way to market it.
That would sell so much tickets. It really would.
Put it up tomorrow. You say, boom, tickets on sale. They make an announcement.
And it'll be sold out tomorrow.
It'll be sold out tomorrow.
It'll be sold out the same day.
Just got to figure out what event is it going to be, and do we really have to wait till like UFC?
Yeah, there's UFC 303. I think that's April. No, it's not April. No, May 29th. That's what it is.
Yeah. May 29th. And that's not summer necessarily.
Right.
Summer starts June 21st, I think. 20th. Something like that. So, yeah. That's not summer. So we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what really happens. But, yeah, that's just what it is. There's a lot of weird stuff with this McGregor fight. I just don't trust it. All right. What else? We got can we talk about Otani real quick?
Yeah.
So now there are rumors, granted, they're not verified rumors. There's a guy named Brandon Lang. He's a sharp, he's a famous sports handicapper, and he's claiming the amount of Shohei Ohtani's gambling debt is more than $400 $4.5 million. It's closer to 7 to 20 million, or maybe even closer to the 15 to 20 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so it seems big, but one thing, it seems to be about soccer. That's also what the guy said.
Yeah, I didn't. His interpreter said that he never bet on baseball or he never bet on Ohtani. That I don't remember him saying which sport. I don't even know if he said what sport he bet on.
So apparently from the Brandon Lane guy, he's saying his sources are saying it was actually Ohtani betting, and it wasn't baseball.
That would make more sense.
There's also a picture of him from a Gonzaga versus Texas Tech game, and they're saying he was sweating out some college basketball bets.
Because how does this guy have that much money? Oh, I guess he was stealing from Ohtani's account. That's why he's so deep into this, so deep in debt with the gambling.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems fishy to me. And they say that or Trout was saying that Ohtani's English isn't that bad.
That too.
So I don't know why he would need an interpreter, but maybe he's just not necessarily comfortable with the English language, or doesn't or doesn't speak it as well.
It's an image thing.
Yeah.
So you don't let Shohei talk. It's like Luka. You don't let Luka talk.
But maybe Ohtani's just not comfortable though. Maybe he's just not comfortable talking publicly.
No, it's like Oliveira and like the dudes in the UFC. If you're not supposed to talk, certain guys that get a translator, it's on purpose. Vince McMahon coined this phrase: "Monsters don't talk." So you want to create a scary person, someone who is feared or marveled or whatever. Brock Lesnar. They never put a mic in that dude's hand.
They put it in
Kane. When did they put a mic in Kane's hand?
No, never. But they
put a mic in Undertaker's hand?
They put a mic in Paul Heyman's hand when he was with Brock.
You get a manager. You get a translator who could speak for you. There's these rehearsed lines. They want Shohei to be talked about as the smart guy. So now the translator says, "Oh yeah, he's just playing chess in his off time," and that they stick to a story. That's the thing. Those guys are reading a script, and they're purposely doing it this way. It's meant to look like this guy doesn't speak English. It's meant to look like all of these things on purpose. I promise you, it's all done for a reason. The Paul Heyman is the perfect example. That's what it is. You have to realize that that's part of the prop. That's part of his character. Is that?
And it's also
there's a story being told.
And it's kind of surprising to me that Ohtani just found out that the guy's stealing money from him, a guy that he's supposedly with every day, just about every day, and he's just finding
since way back.
But he's just finding out now that he has a gambling addiction and that he's however many $1 million in debt.
Also, the guy didn't go to college. Fake transcripts.
Or no, was it high school or something? No, I thought I seen high school. He said that he went to a certain high school, and then there's no record of that.
I heard it was a college.
Oh, I thought I seen something on Twitter today. Somebody reported that it was a high school, maybe some academy he went to, but there's no record of it.
Let me see if I.
But it could have been a college. But I did see that he said he went to a school, or he told the Angels he went to some school, but there's no record of him attending that school.
Oh, here it is. UC Riverside.
Okay, so it's a
University of California at Riverside.
Yeah, I seen that. That's what it was. That there's no record of it. So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So
but
a little bit of it was fraud. Yeah,
but the other thing is the MLB, I don't think they're going to do much. Like they're going to say they're going to investigate. They're not going to suspend the face of baseball.
Yeah, it's a fucked up situation, bro. It really is.
I don't see them.
What they don't want. I know what they don't want is America's sport.
Yeah, they don't want. You
already know how they were kind of pushing back on Like there like they love the Asian players because they don't really cause commotion, and they
Yeah.
don't like try to take over the league. They just play their role. But then remember when they started having like I don't know, there was this thing about like Hispanic players and all that shit. Colin Cowherd got fired for talking about Dominican players and all that. Like, I don't know.
But
They
they don't want Otani in trouble.
they don't want Otani in trouble, but
They can't have it. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose a bunch of money.
it's a bunch of old white guys still running that shit.
Yeah,
And that's really what it is.
they're gonna sweep it under the rug, I think.
I don't know if they're gonna. This one I don't know. It's too scary for them because the dude can like buy a team after, and if they know he's a gambler, no matter what, it could get scary. It could get ugly.
Just like
Because
like
you're letting. It's like LeBron. What I said when Mav Carter got caught up the same fucking way, bro. Mav Carter is even worse than this Otani thing. But Mav Carter getting caught up in all this gambling shit, all this stuff, and then you have him part of LeBron's investment team and everything else with Rich Paul, and now you have him buying the Vegas, whatever the NBA team will be in Vegas. Literally, a dude who has been caught gambling on sports is now going to own a team.
But we heard about it for what, a week or so, and then it went away.
Not even. We heard it for 7 minutes.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think the MLB is going to do a lot with it. I think they're going to say they're going to look into it. They can't lose Otani, especially with him signing with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're true World Series contenders. They're already making it to make even to the playoffs.
Right.
Most years. And you have Otani, who's, won MVP last year. He's won MVP twice. He's won Rookie of the Year. He's a guy that we've really never seen before pitch and hit.
Nope.
So I just don't think they're going to do a lot with it. Or they're going to, maybe they'll fine him. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's a real fucked up situation.
And you don't really know if Otani has the gambling issue or his interpreter has the gambling issue, or they're both gambling. It's really, there's not enough information on the story yet, but it just seems, from what we know right now, we don't really know what's actually.
Here's this. Excuse me. But yeah, it's looking dark. Who knows what's really happening? I had to, from this, I got all worked up and I had to tell my girl about Pete Rose and that whole thing. But Pete Rose's gambling happened when he was a coach. At least he got caught when he was a coach. So they don't know what he was doing as a player. But regardless, he's got over 4,000 hits and no one has over 3,000. This is the equivalent of LeBron James with 40,000 points and nobody else has 40,000. He is in this like one-of-one, very elite circles. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, LeBron is in a similar situation. People just forget that LeBron is in a similar situation because it got swept under the rug so clean. Like, the media shut the fuck up. The league shut the fuck up. LeBron shut the fuck up. Yeah. Everybody, like, across the board. But that's what I'm saying. Perception is reality. Same thing with everything. If everyone is supporting something, then you know why.
Right.
It benefits all of them. It's a good thing.
Good point.
So that's why I see it. Like, if everyone shuts up, that means they know what's good for the goose is good for the gander, which is what's good for LeBron is good for everyone. He rises all boats. If LeBron's boat is good, everyone's good. LeBron goes down the toilet, so does everything else. Everything in the past 20 years is fake now in the NBA if LeBron is now Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's a big domino effect.
But this is a little different because this guy has we see that he says he has a gambling addiction. It says, Maverick Carter didn't have a gambling addiction. He just said he bet on games or whatever. He bet on whatever he did. This one's a little bit more serious.
This one's serious, but he's not one of our own. Like he hasn't been in the league for 20 years like LeBron, where they can say, fuck it. Like LeBron is the league. Like Ohtani isn't the league yet.
I mean, he's become if he's not the face of the league, he's right there.
He's a year or two away, but this
I
is
mean,
this is the breaking point.
I mean, I think you can. I mean, I don't know. Right now, to me, he's the face of the league.
Yeah.
To me,
But
he's
the
the face of
problem
the league. But
is he's no matter what he does, he could pitch a shutout, and they're like, it's rigged.
right.
You know, and it's like that's what I'm talking about. Is the second these dudes start gambling and we open the doors for gambling, it fucked everything up because everything is questionable now, and it's not fun. It's not a good entertainment. It's terrible. Like, did you see Haralabob recently on Twitter?
No,
Do you know who Haralabob is?
I do not.
He's one of Bill Simmons' boys.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find it for you real quick. Bob, here he is. So he went off on LeBron recently. I gotta find it. Here it is. So LeBron posts this thing for DraftKings. You can see the screen?
yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay, so LeBron posts a betting site. He promotes it, DraftKings, and he's the king, you know? So this dude who's like a professional gambler, like he's a sharp, he's a sports guy, and he says, you're famous enough, which I agree with this whole thing. You're famous enough to have the pick of nearly any endorsement deal. You're rich enough where the amount they are paying you won't have any meaningful impact in your life. Being a partner in societal collapse doesn't seem that fun to me. You're better than this, King. I would implore you to spend some time with some disadvantaged young people who had their lives turned upside down by gambling. So it takes this kind of weird approach, right? Where he's a gambler and he's saying LeBron endorsing it is the downfall of society. Yeah. Like it just goes so far because this is a guy who's giving gambling advice. But there's people who, you know, athletes are role models. They have to do this. And then there's Charles Barkley who says, I'm not a role model. You know, like some players choose to be a role model. Other players tell you flat out they're not. And this is where I have the catch for LeBron. It's hypocrisy. You open schools. The way he's branded himself is such a clean image. You know, he's got a little wine now. He might do a cigar, but he tries to have this like very regal, very almost a family man. Obviously regal because he's King James, like royalty, regal. But like he has this family man persona. He's got his daughter Zuri. He's got his wife Savannah. You know, it's a family thing. And I do get this, that like you're promoting gambling. And that's not the best thing to promote because you've marketed yourself as a family man and for the kids. LeBron's for the kids. You know? So that's just what it is. And it's a very conflicting topic that's like, are you for the kids? Are you really just for the bread? Like, has everything been for the bread from the jump? Like, where are your morals? Where do you stand? Where is your line? Like, and we know where his line is. It's on DraftKings tonight, and you could bet it. That's the line, and that's the sad part. And I think as everyone's like, oh, you're trying to be holier than thou, and you're trying to, you know, Haralabob's trying to look like the good guy in the situation, but he has a point. And this is ironic coming from a gambler, but he's saying like, all right, like, you know, this is a little bit too much. Like we're crossing some lines here. Like we're really, you know, putting it on Front Street and it's promoting it to a 14-year-old who's going to steal his mom's credit card and place a bet.
Yeah, LeBron has so much influence.
You know, like that's the real thing. Like that, right. I get what he's saying, and that stuff happens. I was teaching in high school last year. Now I'm teaching first grade. But last year I was teaching high school, and a lot of kids were gambling in Massachusetts. It was legalized. There were these betting apps everywhere. All these kids, like they know I would talk a little basketball with them and stuff like that. You're just trying to be a person with the kids. Like I said, you want to be personable with the coach, but you don't want them to be like your best friend. Like I would talk some things, but then I'd have to, lay the law down too. But I don't know. These kids would gamble. They'd ask me for gambling advice. Yo, should I take the Jaylen Brown over? I'm like, you're 16.
You're 16.
Stop. Please. Like, come on, prize picks. I'm about to put it in one. What should I do? Tatum over in the rebounds? Like that's real shit. And these are real kids. And this is like, I was teaching, just to be clear, like I'm teaching in Mattapan. This is not like how you think like Boston sports and all Bill Simmons and it is white kids. No, these are like Haitian immigrants that are coming here and they're first generation citizens and they are gambling at 15 on their cell phones. Like this is not, Southie. And it's a whole bunch of Red Sox fans. Like I'm trying to tell you the truth. This is what's actually happening. And you got 15-year-old kids betting on games from last year. And LeBron is now promoting DraftKings. And there's no stopgap. They don't care. These gambling sites don't care because they're going to kick you out the second you start winning too much. They're going to kick you out the second they find out you're 18 or under 18.
Yep.
And they're going to take your money because you're just going to lose because you're playing into a rigged game. You lose 3 times. These gambling sites are designed to lose. And that's also what Haralabob goes into. And he goes, they're selling dreams. They're saying you could win all this money. The second you win 3-4 things in a row, they flag your account.
Right.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. These sites are literally the biggest scams in the world. And it's fucking nuts. And it's going unregulated right now. And everyone's just like, betting, posting lines. Every sports media outlet has it. Like, did nobody have journalistic integrity to not take a fucking betting ad? Everyone just wants to take the money. And that's the sad part. And that's what he's also saying in this. Everybody in sports media has now turned a blind eye to gambling and their journalistic integrity. And it's disgusting. There are certain, like, moral codes of a journalist. And you are not supposed to be doing this type shit. Yeah, if you're maybe an opinion piece guy, if you're one of them, but everyone, it doesn't matter who you are. You got the announcers on NBA games saying the line.
Yep.
Call the fucking game. How about that? Like at least Stan Van Gundy went on there and talked about basketball. Yeah, he complained about players, but what rule are they changing now?
Then they fired him.
They fired Van Gundy for him complaining and, Jeff Van Gundy and Stan. Fuck, both of the Van Gundys. They fired both of them because they go on the broadcast and they call the game the way it is. They also talk about basketball in ways other people don't. And at the same time, they complain a lot about how there's a lot of foul calls, about how players lean into shit and get the foul. What are they doing now? They're getting rid of it. But they got rid of the Van Gundys for calling it out. So who was wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, history always tells who was right in the end. It's like Abraham Lincoln. Nobody was trying to, they were trying to keep slavery legal. If he kept it legal, no one would have batted an eye. He would not be in the history books. But why? He took a moral stance early. It ended up being right. He paid for it at the time. He got killed. I know it's a crazy jump, but like, that happened to Van Gundys. They seen something that was wrong with the game. They seen something that was killing the game, hurting the game, putting it in a worse place. And they said, we got to stop this shit. It's ruining the game. And then they go, these guys complaining about the game is ruining the game. And then they get rid of the Van Gundys and then they realize, oh shit, this is what's fucking up the game. This is wrong. They were right the whole time. And it's just history. You just got to let time pass a little bit and you'll be right. You just got to do the work for it. But yeah, the Van Gundys. Wait, what's the topic? It's about, what is the topic?
Or what? For what?
This guy, we get a comment. Wait, what's the topic? We're talking about things that transpire. You could be right ahead of the time and sound like a crazy person. The Van Gundys sounded like crybabies, crying about the game the whole time. And that's what people would talk about on Twitter. Oh, you get it. You're crying about fouls and Van Gundys won't shut up about the modern NBA and there's too many free throws and blah, 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 blah. I remember the narratives, but now We're years removed from the Van Gundys. And now everyone's saying it. Everyone's like, this is done. And now the NBA has come out and said it. We're done giving the offensive player the benefit of the doubt. We're done giving these fouls for free. You can't just like lurch into somebody and get a foul anymore. And that was their whole topic, was just, this is bad for the game. This is bad for whatever it is. It's bad for the organization. And they were right at the end. I think the Van Gundys should maybe be brought back. They'd have nothing else to complain about, right? That was their problem, about the fouls and everything else. But they were gravy other than that. They were calling the game better than everyone could. They knew behind-the-scenes stuff. They were coaches. They played the game in college at least. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and really think, like, morally, what's right in the moment, not just what the rules are, you know?
Right.
What's right? Anyway, LeBron should be doing the right thing. He should have the foresight as the king, as the man, as the heir apparent to everything. He should have the foresight and say, no, I'm the family man. I set the tone. Whatever I say in this league. He talked about player rest. He talked about back-to-backs. What do? They get on top of it and fix the back-to-backs. LeBron sets the tone. And if you got LeBron bending the knee to sports betting companies, he's not doing the right thing. History is not going to be on LeBron's side here. Whatever Haralabob went off on, he's dead right. Because these betting companies, they're paying off all the best players to convince you to bet on them. Who knows how much players are in on the lines. And also, if you win, you get kicked off the app.
Yep. Can't win too much.
You can't win too much. Like, everything about it is set up for you to get tricked, you to be duped, you to lose your money. And it's not good for the game. It will make the game worse. People are thinking the game is more rigged than ever. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to be ahead of history. You got to think ahead, and you got to do what's right. And LeBron got called out for not doing what was right. Don't be a DraftKings partner. Like, it just is what it is. You are supposed to be a man of integrity and a man of the sport. A scholar and a champion. You are not supposed to be the gambling ad guy. And that brings me to fucking NBA betting is coming live on NBA.com. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's fucking ridiculous. Live on the side of League Pass. If you have League Pass, you could now live bet. That is insane to me. What?
I haven't seen it on League Pass yet.
It's coming out. And like, isn't that a conflict of interest?
Yeah, you would think.
You would think, right? The NBA is now posting their own lines.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The guys that work for the company. You don't think they're company men? And
people won't even be focused on the game as much anymore either.
People won't be focused on the game. That's what I'm saying. Everything is getting lost. And
looking at the lines.
Right. You're just looking at the lines. And people are saying it. Some players and stuff and coaches are saying it. These players that they're getting now, yeah, they could shoot the three. They could hit a step back. But there's no fundamentals. They don't understand that when, like a big coming through the paint, you got to hit him with an elbow. You got to check him. If you're playing the paint and that's your position, you check everybody who comes in there. I don't care. You got to touch them. And same with football. It's called like chipping. You chip the tight end or you chip the D end, depending on what you're playing on. You want to create a delay, something that makes the defender do something else. So then you create space for yourself. Yeah, there's guys who know how to hit the step back, but like, how many times can you really just do a step back and spam it?
Right. Or guys don't know how to set
a lot of things. You have to be better than just knowing how to just stand there and shoot threes. You got to know how to create space. You got to know how to create a diversion. You got to know as soon as your defender turns his head, you're gone.
Right.
You don't wait until he turns his head. You do it as he turns. Like, it's got to be timing, everything. Like, you have to have basketball IQ. And a lot of coaches are saying these new guys, they could hit a 30-footer, but they're not the smartest guys. They don't box out. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking like that stuff.
Or they don't know how to set screens properly.
Oh, my God. The screens are terrible. I will say, Rick Barry taught me one thing about screens. A great screen depends on the ball handler.
Right.
No screen is good. That's what he claims. As a Hall of Famer, I'll take his side on this. I know what he's saying. Like, it's up to the guy with the ball to make the screen useful or not. You know, whether
Right.
it all depends on how close you are, and that's also something that they don't have the fundamentals for. You want to bump shoulders with the screener. You know, like you want no space in between.
Right.
So the guy has to go under, and then you could just step back, hit the three open. But you have to know the little nuances of the game to be better at the game. And I
Right.
think the new players are missing a lot of nuance. What else we got? That's all, right? I mean, we talked about the playoffs. We pretty much talked about a lot. I don't think the Nets are making it. I don't think the Hawks are making it.
No,
It's
the
kind of
Hawks.
scary out there
Hawks
in the
are
East.
in. The
They're
Hawks
going
are
to be in it?
They'll be in the play-in tournament. Yeah.
Be in the play-in? Okay.
They're the 10th seed right now, and
They're
the
the 10th
Nets.
seed? Okay.
The Nets are probably 4 or 5 games out of a fourth spot, or the fourth and final play-in spot.
Let me see the conference standings. We'll share this tab instead.
Yeah, they're 4.5 games back. So I mean, they still have a chance statistically, but
Right.
with the way they've played this month, it doesn't seem
And the
likely.
Nets aren't going on a win streak.
Yeah, and they're on a 6-game losing streak right now.
Yeah, it's bad.
So it seems like the teams that are in right now, those 10 teams are probably going to be the teams we see in the playoffs and the play-in.
That's disgusting. 10-game losing streak from the Raptors.
Yeah, they've been
Hawks made the playoffs this year. For sure. For sure.
Well, we'll make the
play-in. I should say.
And Trae Young could be back too by then.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah. So I think that's about it. 7th and 8th doesn't really matter too much. These guys are going to be tied up. I don't think the Bulls are going to pass the 76ers. I mean, there's a chance, but I don't think so. This is going to be the weird one. I think the Bucks have 2 locked up.
But Chicago has played better than Philadelphia as of late. So there is a chance, but
there's a chance. I don't know. I don't even think it really matters. 7 and 8, right? Don't they play each other in the play-in?
Yeah, but I mean, you have if you have the 7th spot, you have home court advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. But which home court advantage hasn't even been that good lately. The percentages have been down.
Well, Miami doesn't even have that good of a crowd.
Right. They don't show up till halftime.
Yeah. Or they don't show.
And then the West, the West is like
much tighter.
I mean, the Rockets could actually squeak in.
Well, they've won 8 straight, and I think they're 10-1 in March.
So you think it's Warriors falling out?
I don't know. The Lakers, I don't know what they do. They're all over I guess both teams have been all over the place. The Lakers and
it looks like the Warriors are dropping out.
Well, yeah, the Warriors as of late haven't looked as good.
Yeah, 4 and 6. They look like the team that's teetering for sure. That's going to drop.
Right, but then again, the Lakers just never know with them either. They show up. They don't show up other nights. They get off to terrible starts, and they make it a game in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
But I think there's been less of that this season for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that was just the rant, you know. Thank you for tuning in, Phoenix. I have no clue who you are. Like and subscribe. Much love for tuning in. But yeah, and it's a long rant, but you got to understand this is a dialogue, and it comes with a lot of nuance. You got to understand the takes. You know, like remember that time that it was like a month ago we were doing one of our pods, and then the dude, what were we talking about? We were talking about coaches giving a shit, and the guy's like, I forgot what the comments were, but the guy was trying to go in on our conversation and roast us. But I'm like, it makes sense. If I invite you to go, like I was telling you, if I go invite you to play 3s or 2s, and then during the game, I just stop and walk over to my phone and I just start tweeting. I'm just on Twitter. He'd be like,
Right.
fuck you invite me out for if you don't give a shit? You're not even out here playing.
Right.
Why am I wasting my time? Why'd you invite me out here to play twos if we got 3 people on the court and one guy sitting there on his phone? If you don't give a shit, people aren't going to give a shit. People are going to be upset.
Right.
And that's all we were saying. Doc Rivers came in there talking about, I could have went 4 teams. I didn't even want to coach like that. This is too difficult. And he
That was the craziest thing. He said it was the most difficult situation, and he was surprised that he got.
And he was surprised by the situation. It's like you were the literal backup to Griffin, and you were coaching him. What are you talking about?
Like what? And he sounded like he didn't even want to coach.
Yeah, like he didn't even know the Bucks were a team. He's like, where did this team come from?
Milwaukee.
Is this an expansion team? Did they just make this? Why is it so hard? And it just was like, are you playing dumb? Like, are you? The players are gonna know he's checked out. But now I think he's been getting better.
They've looked.
Folks have been getting better. The team, even the team, is saying we're just more organized.
The defense looks better.
Yeah, the defense looks better. They look like they're playing by a code. Like they actually have something that they know they do. This situation, they're gonna man up. Like it's just, you could tell it's thought out. Nothing looks like it's flying by the seat of their pants.
Right.
So it is good. But yeah, our rant about how if you don't give a shit, people are gonna know. If you ask someone to show up and everyone is supposed to be equally invested, people can tell when the person's slacking. They could tell when you're not putting your all into it. And that's what our conversation was about. So I'm glad you understand nuance. Because we were just saying, like, you could just feel energy sometimes with anything. Somebody comes in a room and, I don't know, like you go to a go-karting thing and the guy comes in the go-karting and you got to get like the security speech and the guy doesn't give a shit. He comes in, oh yeah, wear your helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell when someone takes it serious and you're like, I'm not fucking around here. Like I'm buckling my helmet. And then there's the guy who's like not following the rules and telling you like, yeah, put your helmet on. You can leave it a little out. Like just be comfortable.
Right.
Like there's always that level where someone's like dead ass or someone's like, oh, you'll have a little wiggle room. You'll be all right. And it's just it's not the best when you have a coach who's like, you can have a little wiggle room. That's all right. Things go bad. You got to want to be perfect. You got to strive for perfection, but knowing it's impossible. But you just strive for it. And you always try. You stay positive. Just be somewhere where you want to be. I think that's what it comes down to. If Doc Rivers don't want to coach, just be out. Someone is dying to be in that position. There's a coach at like University of Illinois or something who is like, that's his dream. And he was an assistant coach for 12 years at some NAIA school, Norfolk State. And he's been busting his hump the whole time. There's people who are dying for your position. So don't go in there and act like you don't give a shit because someone does and someone will fill your spot. So I don't know. Glad Doc looks good. Glad he looks like he gives a shit because that first week was scary. Me and you were both like, what is he talking about? Why? What do you mean he doesn't know that the team was going to be difficult to take over? What do you mean? Like he has 4 other options he could have took, and this one was more difficult, and he could have had easier options. Like, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that stuff.
No.
You know what he should have came out and said is, this Griffin guy wasn't running pick and rolls with Dame and Giannis. We're going to see a little more of that. You don't have to say anything else. Everyone goes, he's right.
He had no plan.
He had no plan either. Like, it just didn't sound like he had a plan, and it just shows that maybe he was, like, manipulating Griffin a little.
Maybe.
That we don't know. But he scooped that job up real quick.
He did.
And he signed a 3-4 year extension real quick.
Yep.
So hopefully the Bucks pick the right guy. He seems like he gives a shit. He won a title for us. Big 3 Celtics. Love Doc for that. But I also know he had a lot of failures in LA. And he's had a lot of failures in Philly. So let's see what happens. And we'll see. And he also wasn't the head coach for 1 year with the Celtics either. So let's not pretend that he was the head coach for 1 year, the only year they won the title. There were years before he was the head coach where they didn't win the title, and there were years after the title where they didn't win it either. So keep that in mind. He's won it 1 time. Let's not act like he's Pop, who wins it like every 2 years. Mathematically, it's like how it feels.
Right.
Even though it hasn't been in a little while, but like, let's be real here. The guy won it 1 time. He wasn't a 1-year coach for the Celtics. He was coaching for 5+ years. Took him a while to get it. So we'll see what happens with Milwaukee. And we'll see what happens with Giannis, where he wants to go. Because I feel bad. Milwaukee could be really in a bad place. And that's also why I care about it. Because it's like that organization really climbed out of the mud. They climbed out of having nothing for 40+ years. Being a joke of a franchise. And to fall back into that, if you really think about it, they're playing 3 head coaches right now, maybe 4. If Prunty got some sort of bonus for being the interim or whatever, but you fired Bud with contract left. You fired Griffin with contract left. You hired Prunty or gave him a raise for the little interim time. And then now you have Doc Rivers. Are you going to fire him too and have 4 coaches on the payroll that you're not even coaching anymore? You know, they're not actual coaches. Yeah. So they're stuck with Doc Rivers. And that's what I'm saying. They're stuck with Doc Rivers for 3 years. They're stuck with Dame for 3 years after this. And $60 million is his last year. 62, I think, something like that. So just be aware what the Bucks could do. And it's just a scary situation that they could really run to the ground. You have Doc Rivers and Dame when Dame's about 40 and getting $62 million a year. How are you going to win with that? Who are you going to bring on to help Dame?
Good point.
You know, like it gets to a point where you're like, oh, we have a 40-year-old 6'1" point guard who lost his hops. Okay. All right. We'll be all right. Like Kemba retired.
Yeah.
You know? And it just, you could tell, like Dame is going to turn into Kemba soon. I love Kemba. My name on Twitter was Kemba Walker. Big UConn fan. We got UConn winning the tournament this year. You know, like we're staying loyal, but, you know, we got to be honest too. We got to be real. Kemba don't got it. He can't play 82. He can't play back-to-back, so he can't be in the league no more. And Dame is like a 1 week a guy, 1 week game a guy, 1 week a game type of guy. God damn, that got me. But you know what I'm saying? He's got one good game in him a week. He's not it anymore. And it just is what it is. And soon it's a 1 game every 2 weeks, 1 game every month guy. And that's what Kemba turned into, and that's why he fell out the league. So I just worry about if he's going to be that guy for $62 million.
Right.
You know, you wanted to bring in the right head coach to make the right decision. And let's see. Doc's the vet. We're entrusting in him. So we got anything else?
Nope.
On the last note, NBA players are tweeting about Top Shot again. Let's go. Top Shot to the moon. Derek White was tweeting about Top Shot. J-Dub. And I think there was one other player that tweeted about Top Shot recently. They put a dunk, you know, like NBA Central tweets it out. And then J-Dub quote tweets it. And he says, is this on Top Shot yet? So it's like he wants his own card on Top Shot, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, it's back. If the players are bought in, it'll be dope. The stock market of the NBA. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with the rants and the explanations of the rants. Sometimes, you know, we got to put in a clause because you guys are first-time viewers and you don't know how this show gets. But we out of here, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Much love, brothers.
Adios.